On top of that, it's good. The products
Yeah.
we have here in Michigan are so quality. We don't have to make amendments because it's local. Michigan is the second most agriculturally diverse state in the union. Other than California, we have the most diversity of products that we can work with. So it's good for you at home too. It's not making compromises to support your local farmers. They really are world class.
Hi, Sarah. Welcome to Keys of the Community.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Phil. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time. Keys to the Community is a podcast that we spend a lot of time talking with entrepreneurs, nonprofits, home inspectors, roofers, all those kinds of things, everything related to real estate and our local economy. So it's great to have you on. So tell us a little bit about Sarah.
I am a sommelier that is very proud to be back in the Michigan wine industry where I started. I started actually up in the Traverse City Old Mission Peninsula in 2004 and have spent some time touring around our beautiful Pacific coast here in America and learning about what they were doing with wine out there. And
Yeah.
I'm just thrilled to be home for the last 5 years and finally back at a winery, where the magic happened.
Yeah. So what brought you back from the Pacific Northwest?
A lot of things. First of all, the people, and secondly, Michigan. I left the Seattle area to do some consulting down in Los Cabos in Mexico.
Oh, really?
And and the hurricane season lines up perfectly with our grape harvest season. So
Oh,
for September and October, I was taking the visit back home to mom and dad up in the Old Mission Peninsula, hanging back at my family home and remembering why I love Michigan so much. And a lot of it was the people, the
yeah.
family, and just the culture of the people you meet and how overall kind and friendly it really can be here. And a lot of that just really fit into place. I did take me a couple of years. I took a detour out to Oregon first, and just after being back for that little amount of time, the seed was planted, and
Yeah.
I did everything I could to come back and be a part of the Michigan wine scene.
That's awesome. And so you're with Modales today.
I am with Modales today, and so
Okay.
proud to be. So I'm down a little bit further south than where I started, up in the Old Mission Peninsula. But this is actually the first AVA, or growing region, in Michigan, established in 1981. So I'm really going back to the beginning here. And I think I found a wonderful group of people who really care and put a lot of heart into the farming and winemaking here.
Yeah. So what makes Michigan wine world class? And from a climate standpoint, Fennville is just in that area is just amazing with their wines. What is that all about?
The main thing it's all about is our big, beautiful lake. The lake effect and being by Lake Michigan is what gives us the ability to farm these fruits. But the vast majority of vineyards are within 25 miles of the lake shore. So giving us that little bit of insulation in the spring, so we miss the spring frost because we're a little closer to the lake. And in the fall, it will extend the season out by a couple of weeks. And down here, even more so than up in Traverse City area. So with
Yeah,
that
sure.
longer growing season, the grapes are able to ripen at a lovely consistent speed to get that most amount of aromatics, maintain their natural acidity, which is what I love in wine. I love that kind of refreshing feeling on the palate there. So mainly the lake gives us the ability to even be able to get these grapes to ripeness and have the ability to farm them. Our soil is another beautiful thing. Grapes don't need the most nutrient-rich soil. You won't see vineyards in our beautiful heartland area. They need less nutrients and a bit more drainage. So our history is, of course, of glaciers coming through and tearing the land up. So we have a huge diversity where most of it is glacial moraine soil, or basically debris, stuff that was cut up and pushed around. So I think the main thing about our soils, we have such a diversity of these drainage-friendly soils like gravel and clay and sand, and they allow our plants to get really deep roots, and that also affects the quality of the fruit and the overall flavor we're getting at the end of it. So having this northernly cool climate where we can make fresh, food-friendly, really world-class wines is all thanks to that beautiful lake.
Sure. Oh, that's wonderful. So when you say deep roots, I've always been curious about this. How deep are the roots in a vineyard? And are we talking a few inches or a few feet?
That really varies on how you farm. We bought a vineyard that was already previously being farmed in 2016 and have since added vines and converted all of those vineyards to organic farming. So we're not using any synthetic pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, any of that nasty stuff on our vines out there.
Yeah.
Those vines that are going to be in an area where they're farmed correctly and they're not overwatered are going to be the vines where the roots will grow deep. They can get up to 50, 100 feet underground in the right
Oh
conditions. It
my.
will take time, but if a grape is overwatered or has too many nutrients, the roots will grow down and then they'll stick to where they're getting fed and start going to the sides and just hang out there. And if the grapes are struggling a little more, the root will continue to go down, searching for that more taproot and just establishing a better root for the plant. So it can vary, but if farmed, it can get way down there.
Yeah, interesting. And so what brought on your change to organic farming?
I wasn't here for the change to organic farming, but first and foremost, making quality wine. And when you farm the grapes with love and without poisons, then they're going to make better fruit. We're also the owners of this winery live here. They live in Fennville. They're locals. Their grandchildren come here and play in the vines. And we want it to be a safe, healthy environment. Previously, with the previous type of farming before they were organic, there weren't worms in the soil. We didn't see spiders roaming around. So yes, it's wonderful marketing wise to say we're organic. It's very on trend, but at the end of the day, it's just about keeping our land healthy, and farming
Sure.
organic is the best way that, that we saw to keep it healthy and to keep those, all the microorganisms alive. And really at the end of the day, to make the best fruit that we can possibly make.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. When someone supports a local winery like Modales, I'm imagining the economic impact is huge because of obviously buying wine is paying your employees, paying for the farm itself, all those kinds of things. But what other economic impact does a winery have on the community?
I think first and foremost, growing up in Traverse City, I saw it firsthand is people like to visit wineries. I obviously staying in this industry, I love tourism. I love when people come and take over a city and meeting people from all over the world. But I think mainly with wineries, it brings people in to visit all the rest of the bucolic beauty that we have. So you can't understate the tourism and the draw of wineries being a part of that experience to also help grow the local food scene and the local restaurant scene. So first and foremost, just getting people to our areas and experiencing them. Wineries are huge on that. But also, we're community driven as well. And when we think about who our suppliers are going to be, we're going to buy our cheese from the farm around the block. And we're going to engage with local businesses for our printing and for our advertising. So we having that local agricultural outlook, that's how we conduct our business on a day-to-day too. We want to support the local businesses and donate to the schools when they're having a fundraiser and really be community members. On top of that, it's good. The products
Yeah.
we have here in Michigan are so quality. We don't have to make amendments because it's local. Michigan is the second most agriculturally diverse state in the union. Other than California, we have the most diversity of products that we can work with. So
Wow.
it's good for you at home too. It's not making compromises to support your local farmers. They really are world class.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome. I did not realize we were the second. Did you say second most diverse? Is that what you said?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
We
crazy.
have a
Wow, I did
lot
not
of
know that.
different products. Think about your local farmers market when you go through there. And I think we're all pretty good at least thinking locally. We know when it's morel season and we know when to get
Hmm.
excited about the sugar snap peas and when the tomatoes are coming out. So we have a lot of products. So next time you walk through your local farmers market this spring, just take a peek around and you'll be shocked at the diversity.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. So speaking of supporting local, I'm not sure who's responsible for all of your events there at Modell's, but they are amazing, and you seems like you have them going on all of the time. And the food trucks, that is just awesome.
Yeah, there's another connection with local businesses too. We want wineries to be a safe community place to come to. It doesn't need to be, and I think the days of a hoity-toity, snobby sommelier greeting you have happily passed. This is a community farm, and we want people to come here and not just be asking for money and promoting sales all the time, but giving you a space to be. Our next class coming up is grape wreath making, where it literally started with the staff watching them do the winter pruning and say, I think we could make some art out of this. So we
Mm,
want it to be a culture, a Michigan culture
yeah.
where you have your farm is a place you go to meet your neighbors, to have interesting experiences, and hopefully fall in love with a little local wine too. But it's not just about getting the highest tasting fees and having the biggest, fanciest dinners. We want people to share in the magic. It's a pretty cool thing to go to work at a farm every day.
Yeah, for sure. I know my wife and I, we just really enjoy sitting outside at Modales and watching all the activity and the kids running around and playing games. And on a fall day, of course, we do it anytime, but on a fall day when the sun's out and it's just beautiful, there's nothing like sitting out there.
Yeah, it is. It's really peaceful. And we find that we've become a lot of our friends in larger cities' backyards, right? I can't tell you how often I meet someone who's just up from Chicago because it's their spot or their place they like to come to. And folks from Kalamazoo can jet over here in under an hour, and Grand Rapids too. So we are happy and take a lot of pride in being that easy to access getaway. This could be a day trip, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So you're I'm not sure if this is the right word for it, but I'll say member of the wine trail or a participant in the wine trail. Is that right?
Yes, we are. And I have to be honest, I'm not super hip to that one. We have a wonderful marketing manager named Jamel who works with a lot of the local promotions and organizations on
Okay.
there. So know we're in it and we promote it through their wineries. We need each other too. We don't want to be the only winery on the block. We want people to be able to
Right.
come down and get a completely different experience here. Our wines tend to focus a little bit more dry and a little more table and food friendly, where some of our neighbors might have a bit more fun with things and have some more like other fruits introduced in there too. And then down
Sure.
the street from us, Michigan Wine Company is a much smaller kind of laid back scene where we're a little bigger and a lot of moving parts. So I think it's valuable for people to have multiple places to go and see. And you can drive down for a day trip from Grand Rapids, or you can come up for 5 days and visit two or
Yeah.
three places in a day and really slowly experience. So it's good to
Yeah.
have power in numbers with our wineries.
Sure. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. What's the best-selling wine that Modelo produces?
The best selling wine in this season right now. I had to look. I got to tell you, I've been
Okay.
here about 3.5 months, so I know what we've been
Okay.
selling most of here. But I had to
Yeah.
see. We do get a lot of interest in our Rieslings when we have multiple types of them.
Yeah.
We have a blend called El Suelo, which is a wonderful,
Oh,
easy to sip on red blend that sees a lot. But I haven't been
that's
long
my favorite.
to see through a busy season what's happening in the summer on there.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot like
Oh no, that's
that.
okay. I can roll with anything. I'm behind a bar a lot of the times. You can throw anything at me.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you're producing the wine and bottling it and so on, where might someone be? What's your distribution? Is it Michigan? Is it just West Michigan? Is it all over the country? And
We're not national yet. So you can find us in the Michigan, Ohio, Illinois market. Obviously, we love to grow and move through on and move out further, but right now we're regionally found. We do have a lot of support in Michigan, especially from the independent shops around the state. And we've been working on cleaning up. We have a great link on our website that goes to all the stores that we work with and distribute through.
oh,
And I've been taking time kind of confirming those and calling up and making sure we're still accurate with it. But it's a great little resource to see where people are supporting us on there.
yeah, yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah. So how many, is it gallons of wine? Is that the right way to say that you produce in a year?
Most of them would be, let me get the case count for you.
Okay. All right.
Let me see. Most of them will do it by the case counts sold on,
Oh,
but we're not huge. So within the general wine scene, we're under 2,000, so about 1,600 cases of wine per year.
that seems like a lot to me.
Yeah, we're not like a giant California production on there, but for Michigan,
Hmm.
we're a comfortable size.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. Okay. And of course, you have the tasting room there. So if someone wanted to come down and enjoy one of your events or just come for a tasting, you have a beautiful spot to do that.
Yeah, and one of the things I think that people will find if you haven't been out to wineries in the last 5, 10 years or so, I think you'll be pleased to see that there's a lot of different options when you get there. So when you walk into our tasting room, they're going to be different everywhere you go. But we try to have a few different experiences set up just depending on the mode you're in. Your table reservations where you'll have a server and just sit and get an hour and a half to relax back there, to guided tastings at the bar where you're really interacting with us for about a whole hour and doing the old school pick out your 5 wines with us, right down to, geez, we don't have time to wait for a table. We can just walk up to the back window and grab a glass or a bottle and relax in the yard with the family too. So I do think that's something I like, that we have different directions you can go in, whether you wanted to commit to a 1-hour tour through the vines with me and a tasting afterwards, or just grab a glass with the family outside. You can always have a catered experience there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Before we continue, I'd like to give a big shout out to our amazing sponsors for making this podcast possible. Lighthouse Title, Independent Bank, Josh DeVries Mortgage Lender, Cooper Insurance, Jose Morales, in partnership with Fremont Mutual Insurance. Thank you for your support. Check out their info in the description below. Let's dive back in.
My wife and I did a walking tour probably a couple years ago, but we should probably do another one with you, Sarah. That'd be fun.
Oh, please. Yeah, no, please
Yeah.
do. I'm hoping to have enough staffing to add perhaps 2 a day on the weekends this season, because there's really nothing like exploring and getting to see what we do. And it's not always going to be the same too, because during the heat of the harvest, we might not poke our heads into the actual winery production when there's hoses and things rolling around, or if it's a rainy day, we might go into the barrel room instead of the vines. So we do have a standard setup, but being at the mercy of Mother Nature and being an active farm, it can switch a little bit too, where in the springtime you might experience some different little facets of what we do than you would in the fall time or summer.
Sure. So if a family or a company or whatever, a nonprofit group, wherever it may be, could they reserve a larger space to host their own kind of party or award ceremony or whatever it may be, or just a fun night out?
Yeah, so we have a separate building, actually, where I am right now, which is why it's so quiet and you don't hear glassware clinking around in there. We have our original tasting room. When we started Modales, it was just going to be farming. The original plan was to be grape farmers and sell them to local wineries and relax in the vineyards. And that became really evident early on when La Gracia and La Esperanza vineyards were winning awards left and right, that, hey, maybe we have something here. So by 2019, they had this smaller tasting room that I'm sitting in right now, which right now is empty for things like this. And I'm working to build it up for more events like that, where you could have and rent it out. And especially like rehearsal dinners, we've had a lot of interest in, or the shower, or a corporate toast, or team building thing. So we do have a separate space. You can do seated events for about 50 in here, standing room up to 70 or so, and weather dependent. There's a beautiful little outdoor space you can flood onto too, to have your own private experience here with us, whether it be your thing and you just want a couple of bartenders here to pour the good juice, or whether you want to get really geeked out and have a team bonding experience where I can guide you as a sommelier through different pairings and things. It is exciting to have a separate space from where we do our day-to-day business available.
Yeah, that's fun. Again, my wife and I were at an event a year or two ago in that space that you're in right now. I think it was for wine club members. We had something there. It was fantastic. We had a great time.
Yeah, this year I know I've been thinking about, and I'll tell you, you'll get a wine club email on it, but we do have pickups for our wine club 3 times a year. And many of our wine club members are locals or close enough locals within an hour or so that like to come and pick it up rather than have us ship it. So I am going to utilize that this year when we have a wine club pickup to maybe open this space up so there's an easier place for the club to come in, get a little VIP treatment, not have to wait in line, and still give really great service to people who walk in and just want to check out what we're about and didn't know that it was wine club pickup week and it was going to be a little chaotic. So I'm hoping to use this space to spoil you guys a little bit more too.
Oh, that's fun. I always chuckle when we walk in when it is pickup time and there's all of those cases of wine right by the hostess stand and up front by the doors there, and people running in and out, hauling cases to their car. It's fun to see.
It is fun. And again, it goes back to that, why do you buy local? We're right here. This isn't getting shipped across the ocean and then driven across the region and then put in a warehouse and driven. It's really right here. So you don't have to waste all that gas and all that carbon footprint on them too. So I love seeing local people at local producers, just picking things up. It's beautifully old school.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've asked Jim this before when I've stopped for a glass of wine there, and the deer in the area can be a problem for you. Is that right?
Yeah, once the grapes are ripe, I don't think I've seen as many down here, but I know up north we also had foxes to contend with. They got pretty
Oh,
hungry.
really?
Yeah, animals, they know when the fruit is ripe as well. So you have to get creative about just making it a little bit scary to be there for them, not harming the animals, but maybe some loud noises. Or we had
Mm,
a cannon up in Old Mission Peninsula that just shed blanks with the noise. So I
yeah.
haven't seen the cannon here yet. It'll be
No.
fun to see all the ways. But yeah, no, animals definitely are interested in the grapes. Fortunately, they wait until about when they're ripe to want to go in and take them over. But there's netting, there's watching it, but it's they want fruit too.
Yeah. So I didn't realize that fox were an issue. Is there other animals besides deer and fox that are,
That come to
you know,
eat. There's birds too. Those
yeah?
those beautiful starlings can come in. They're not as bad down here, but when I worked in Oregon, you could see the worry and the dread get on the winemaker's face, and you see those beautiful bird formations in the sky because a group of them could take out an acre of fruit if they were
Oh,
coordinated
wow.
and had enough time. So I'm not sure if
Yeah.
the starlings are as bad here. I'm excited to see during harvest. I'll go out with my bell and ring animals away if they need help.
Yeah, that's funny. That's good. So what's the next event you have coming up at Modales?
We have two coming up this weekend. On Saturday, we're going to do a little snowshoe if the weather holds up. If not, I'm peeking out of the window here. If not, we can always just put our boots on. But we're going to do a little walk through the vines, whether it be snowshoe or boots on there, and then have a local chef coming in to make us some little chalet snacks, some grilled cheese and fondue, and just enjoy the outside there. And then on Sunday is one of my wonderful bartenders and stewards, Melissa, is teaching a weaving class with our organic vines to make some decorative wreaths just for fun on
Oh,
there. So
wow.
I have
Oh,
a
wow.
couple of them this weekend.
Yeah. And you need reservations for that?
We do, yes. We have our website has the reservation system open for both of them.
Okay. Okay. What is something that we don't know about Michigan wines or Modelo specifically? For the average person like me that likes to drink wine but is not as knowledgeable as you are, what's something that stands out?
I think that what stands out to me I think it can answer both of them, both Michigan wine and particularly right here in Fennville, we do a great job of it, is just the diversity. We are cool climate, so as I said before, a lot of the wines will be lower alcohol and maybe some lifted acidity in there, but we have all the styles covered. Michigan has bone dry, beautiful, mineral driven white wines that are a little snowflake falling onto your tongue and no sugar, right up to one of the few places in the world where we can make ice wine naturally out in the vine with right in the middle these beautiful bright red Gamay Noirs that are lighter, often lower oak, beautiful red fruit wines up to really savory and intense Cabernet Francs and Syrahs. So I think for me, people tend to pigeonhole Michigan in one way or the other. And what I think I'd love to share the word is that there's just a lot of variety here.
Is your region, produce a different style of, say, red wine than Mission Point? Is it because of the
Absolutely.
soils and the climate and that sort of thing?
Absolutely. We have the ability to ripen some red fruit that might not have a chance up there. We have often up to 1 to 3 week longer harvest down here, just being that farther south, so we can extend it out a little bit more. And grapes have different built in timelines for how long it takes them to ripen. Some are just naturally earlier ripening, some a little bit later, some need more hours of sunshine to get completely there. And down here, we have the ability to have more grapes like Cabernet Franc and Cabernet Sauvignon and some of the more warmer climate grapes, but they do wonderful here in our cool fresh place and still get the effect to ripen.
Okay. So this is obviously an obvious question, I should say, but in Oregon, a red is going to taste a lot different than in Michigan.
For sure, yeah. For sure. And that's so many factors that come together. Like we talked about the climate, the amount of the growing season, how far north we are, how far away from the equator on there. But a lot of it too is the human terroir. What we do and how we make wine has a big effect on it. But to the main difference in Oregon would be that they're not a lake region. They're an inland valley region with mountains surrounding them. So their grapes are going to have a completely different life than ours are here.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. So, sommelier, what does it take to become a sommelier?
That kind of depends on who you ask.
Okay.
There are two main organizations that do sommelier education and classes certifications. The Guild of Sommeliers and if you've ever seen the Somm movies before or heard of those ones where there's a couple of movies where they document people studying for the Master Sommelier examination.
Sure. Thank you, Sarah, for being on and telling us all about Modales. We appreciate it. If anyone has a desire to have a beautiful, locally grown glass of wine, check out Modales, Modales, located in Fennville, Michigan. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks for tuning in to Keys to the Community. Make sure you subscribe and stay connected to what's happening across West Michigan. And if real estate is on your mind, reach out. I'd love to help.